Hi, I'm Daniel and welcome to this week's episode. Seems Space Station Unicorns crashed into an all-white dimension this week, so looking a bit strange, but stick with us. Humor is a little difficult, so we'll crack right on. Nintendo fans rejoice, Satoru Iwata has returned to the captain's chair after a short leave of absence. Having recently taken time off and not appearing at E3 this year, Iwata appeared before the press to present Nintendo's most recent finances. Iwata was discovered to have a tumour on his bile duct, but said it was caught before any symptoms could manifest. The tumour was surgically removed and Iwata has been in recovery ever since. Though he says he has lost a little weight, he says he's feeling much better these days and is returning to his usual duties. Good health, Iwata-san. Android's had a little feature transplant. In a recent update to the PlayStation app for Android, Sony has added remote play functionality. This feature was previously only available on the PS Vita and allows players to stream their console games to their device, allowing the device to be used as a spare controller or to host the game, freeing up your TV for friends and family to do strange things like watch programs at a specifically defined time. There is, however, a slight downer on your parade of glee. The feature currently only works on Sony Xperia Z3 devices, and Sony has zero plans to extend the usability of the app to other Android devices. Though if you do happen to own a Z3 device, Sony has released a mount that attaches to the DualShock 4 controller, suspending the device above it. It looks pretty dashing, I must say. Well, you can't win them all, but fingers crossed Sony changes their mind on this one. Dr. Sony to diagnostics, there's a problem with the firmware. After gushing profusely about PlayStation 4 Update 2.0 the last few weeks, it seems a few people are experiencing issues with the major update. Some users are left unable to turn their consoles on after putting it into rest mode, while others report the system randomly shutting down and corrupting installation files. A Sony rep told Game Informer, "We're aware of issues reported by some PS4 users following the release of PS4's latest system software update version 2.0. We're investigating these issues and will provide an update once we have more information." In the meantime, if you're unable to resurrect your PS4 from its rest, unplug the power cord, press the on button once to discharge any remaining power in the machine, and plug it back in, letting it do a system reboot. Keep an eye on the Sony blog and Twitter for more information as it's released. 2 brains, 1 head, and a successful surgery. Ed Zarek has been known in the past for creating laptop versions of gaming consoles, some of which he sells on his site. The XBook 4 and XBook 1 are laptop-like devices that can be carried around and played anywhere with a power socket. And Ed's quite proud of his creations. But more recently, Zarek has been frustrated not only with the lack of console portability, but with backwards compatibility. When playing Call of Duty at a friend's, he found it a hassle to switch back and forth between the 1 and 360. In response, he has created the XBook Duo, a laptop console which houses both a 360 and a 1. There are 2 disc trays, 2 power buttons, but just 1 screen. The product isn't for sale, as Ed says it's more of a proof of concept, but perhaps he'll start offering them for purchase in the future. In the meantime, we know it can be done, so how about someone smart out there tries themselves and sends along the result? I'd be more than happy to remove from you the burden of judging its success. Little baby Oculus was born strong, but it needs Papa Zuckerberg to help it grow big. In Facebook's most recent finance presentation, Mark Zuckerberg has stated that Oculus, while an exciting prospect, is still young and will need time to become a viable business. Zuckerberg has set a 10-year plan for the product, stating, "The strategy for Oculus is to help accelerate their growth. They've got 2 products, Rift on PC, and they're supporting Gear VR and the Samsung team on building the mobile version. I'm really excited about both of them. It needs to reach a very large scale, 50 to 100 million units, before it will really be a very meaningful thing as a computing platform. So I do think it's going to take a bunch of years to get there. And when you get to that scale, that's when it starts to be interesting as a business in terms of developing out of the ecosystem. So when I'm talking about it as a 10-year thing, I'm talking about building the first set of devices and then building the audience and the ecosystem around that until it eventually becomes a business." Facebook is warning consumers not to expect too much from the Oculus in terms of its mainstream potential just yet. It's a young product and young technology that needs a base of apps and games to really get it going. But there are also some key apps and games driving the platform forward. The most recent incarnation of the headset, the Crescent Bay device, is said to be very close to a consumer product, mirroring the words of Oculus themselves. But don't expect Oculus to come into its own for a little while. Zuckerberg discussed little about solid plans for the device, but the 10-year span is encouraging, showing some real thought and research is being put into the success of Oculus. So come back 10 years from now and we'll let you know how the little scamp is getting on. Surgery over, now time to recover. What are your hopes and dreams for Oculus? Is your PS4 on the fritz and in need of a medic? And who's brave enough to send me that free laptop console we talked about earlier? That's it, that's all we've got for this week. If you missed the last episode, you can catch it here. Don't forget to like us on Facebook and follow us on Twitter. See you next time.